Hello everyone, this video is going to be all about relaxing drawing and painting activities for your sketchbook. First up is this super cool but calming geometric line doodle. Start by drawing a curvy line on your page. Next, choose a random point on that line to start drawing other lines from that all follow along the same shape. Make sure that all of your lines start from the one point. Keep on repeating these steps from multiple points to create a really interesting and detailed design. This looks super awesome on its own, but it can also look great as a background or design element in other paintings. These designs also look great with color behind them. If you want to try a slight spin on this activity, start out with creating a colorful background in your medium of choice, and once it's dry, draw the geometric design over top. This drawing exercise is simple, but results in a very interesting final look. If you want an equally relaxing drawing activity, but with a little more precision involved, then Botanical illustrations might be the one for you. Now, I'm personally not a big nature artist, but I'll be the first to admit that drawing leaves and plants is an extremely relaxing activity. There are so many unique possibilities starting from just one stem line. You can vary the leaf size and shape, how many leaves are on one branch, and even if there are branch offshoots from the main stem. There are endless combinations, and there's really no way to go wrong with this exercise. A little offshoot from the plant life illustrations would be drawing succulents. Really, most flowers, when drawn from a top-down view, follow the distinct golden ratio spiral pattern, but succulents are my personal preference to doodle. Starting from the center of the plant, gradually draw leaf-like shapes, working your way around and outwards. You might want to look up reference pictures of your chosen plant for inspiration, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be doodling plants from your imagination in no time. Sometimes the act of creating a piece of art is more important than the subject matter of the artwork itself. These next painting activities are great representations of that. This first one is a very satisfying way to create a colorful gradient. Begin by placing daubs of white paint sporadically on the page. This works best when using a thicker and more opaque type of paint like gouache or acrylic. I actually used kids' poster paint for this. Next, begin to add daubs of different colored paint around the white. I'd recommend going in color order starting with yellow, then orange, and so forth. Once you have your colored paint all over your page, go back to the point that you started and begin to blend the colored paint daubs with the white paint daubs, gradually working your way across the page. I just used a brush for this, but you could achieve an awesome look with a palette knife or even your fingers. This is definitely more of an abstract piece, but like I said before, sometimes it's the process that matters more. That being said, pieces like this can work great as backgrounds or added texture elements for other drawings. You can also create something similar with watercolor paint by first wetting your page, then going back with your color to create a nice blooming effect with the paint. Another relaxing but more abstract activity is creating one of these linear paintings. First, choose a more minimal color palette. Next, begin to make an even, straight stroke with your brush. This works best when you're using a flat brush. Then, taking a different color of your choice, create a new stroke with your brush in line with your first stroke. Continue to add different strokes of color to your page, alternating the length and color of the strokes. This activity can also help a lot with your hand steadiness when painting and your brush control. This next idea combines aspects of the last two activities. Again, starting off with a minimal color palette, begin to create a fairly smooth gradient with your colors. Start at the top of your page with a dark paint and work your way down, blending and gradually fading your paint into a lighter color. I also decided to go back and add more linear swatches on top of the gradient for more added texturing. If you wanted, you could really create this entire gradient using a more structured linear swatch technique instead of blending the colors into each other so much. At the bottom of the page, I decided to take some black paint and create a city skyline to make this gradient into more of a sunset. While this particular painting activity is more structured, I still found the painting process to be quite relaxing. Another painting activity I find calming is creating these geode shapes. For this page, I started by splitting it into quadrants. Next, taking your desired paint color, begin by painting an organic blob-like shape in the corner. You want this area to be your paint at its full strength or opacity. Next, using the same paint color, add a bit of water or white paint to dilute the color slightly before adding a border around the edge of your first shape. Don't worry about following the shape exactly. It will actually look more like a geode slice if you make slight modifications to the border. Continue to dilute your paint with each ring that you add until you reach the edge. This area should be almost white. Not only is this a relaxing painting exercise, it also helps with learning values. If you're having some trouble with getting each of the rings to look distinct from each other, try painting the entire area outside of your fully opaque shape in an extremely diluted version of that color. You can gradually work your way backwards, or even layer the paint to help you achieve distinct values. This geode design also looks great painted in a variety of shapes. And those are all of the relaxing drawing and painting activities, at least for this video. I hope this video gave you some ideas to try out in your sketchbook, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.